is the beast from Hollywood East, Michael the Hammer Mulligan.
Hey folks, Michael Hammer Mulligan here with Michael LOCO LOBO Gresh. What up, Mike?
What's up there, Hammer?
So look, we're back. Me and Michael want to talk about a few things. First of all, Chip Maraza Pollard, aka the Surgeon. We've been struggling to try and get this guy a good fight. Everybody's been ducking him. So what I did was I made a short little maybe clip, and I put it onto my website and spread it out there. It's on FIRESIDE.com. You can go on there and you can see that. I didn't feel it was appropriate for the show. It was basically calling out everybody on the top 10 list, trying to get somebody to put it together to get in the cage and fight Chip. There was a couple that did in past before they were on top 10, and they did a good job with Chip. But now we need somebody else. So I want to give props to Ryan Quinn. Ryan Quinn called and talked to me. Ryan, thank you very much. Ryan's training now out of Coconut Creek, Florida, with American Top Team, Mike?
Yeah.
Great team, great team. We seen watching UFC last night. There were some members of American Top Team on there.
One of the top teams in the United States.
Exactly.
Ricardo Laborio, he's the mastermind behind that whole operation. He's got some fantastic trainers down there.
Yeah.
If I was down in Florida and didn't have a team to represent, I'd love to train with those guys.
Yeah, I actually bought a lot in Port St. Lucie, which is about 14-15 minutes away from Coconut Creek. So when I get to the age coming up on it where I'm going to be wintering down there,
it's already there.
We'll be there. We'll be there. I know I haven't got the stylish gray hair. I don't know what like Mike does. Hey, I'm almost as old as him. I keep trying to catch up, but I never quite get there.
Right, never. You won't either.
Yeah. So Ryan Quinn, thank you very much for taking the fight with Chip Maraza Pollard. That's going to happen in December something on the CES show. I'm sure we'll talk about that in the future. But Pat Sullivan, the promoter, correct?
Yeah, we're trying to hook that up this week and verify that and make sure that's all in the works. We would love that fight.
All the players are in the game now.
Yep.
Everybody's working on it, so I'm sure it's going to come to fruition.
Yep.
We did a little financial bonus to the one that took it. I did personally because I want to see this fight and get Chip in there. So go to FIRESIDE.com, watch that clip, and you'll understand the backup. You'll back your head up on this one.
That's a good fight too. I mean, we can touch on that a little.
Please.
You got two high-level guys. One is a high-level grappler, wrestler, jiu-jitsu guy, being Ryan Quinn.
When I talked to him, he said if I had a choice between wrestling or MMA, he'd be wrestling.
Yeah, the kid's a phenomenal wrestler, very good jiu-jitsu player. Of course, he's one of the best. Ricardo was, like I said, Daniel Gracie's my instructor. They always talk how highly of Ricardo Laborio. He's one of the best pure BJJ practitioners in the world today.
And he said
he's a great teacher.
Great
you got to give the guy props for that. I've seen Ryan fight 2 or 3 times. He's no joke. He's a very respectful kid. Excellent kid to deal with. Excellent kid to talk to. A real professional, and he brings it. He brings it to the cage. So this isn't an easy fight for Chip by any means.
You don't want an easy fight.
No, Chip, this is not an easy fight, but I'll tell you what, on the same flip side, it's definitely not an easy fight for Ryan, and Ryan knows that because Chip is a very athletic, and like Bill Mahoney said, Chip's probably one of the
premier strikers in the area.
Well, not just that, Chip, he basically said that Chip is one of the most well-rounded fighters in the Northeast.
Nice.
And he's right, he's hard to get down,
Yep.
and don't underestimate his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and his wrestling. I mean, he uses his wrestling as athleticism to keep the fight standing. But this could go any way. I'll tell you, if Ryan can get him down, that's where his strong point is. If he can't get Chip down, Ryan could be in for a long night. Let's just leave that. If CES can hook this up, this is going to be a premier fight to watch.
And this is the thing about Chip. Now, when I posted this onto that rag thing, what is it, Northeast MMA or whatever it is, that Denny Higgins or Figgins or something like that, I can't remember. But anyways, I posted it on there for him so the people would do this. I posted my little clip on there so that somebody would step up. And I got comments such as, well, why should these top 10 fighters go for somebody that isn't in the top 10? Now, Chip belongs in the top 10. Some of them fighters that are on that list aren't even here anymore. I mean, they're like they moved up. They're still local guys, but they don't fight in the local
I don't know how Denny does that. If I mean, he did mention it. It's a hard job. I mean,
I understand.
I got to give Denny props.
I think he's got a lot of other good people doing it now. He's not doing it himself anymore as much.
Like I said, I appreciate what they do in the area for the local MMA and to get those rankings. You're not going to make everybody happy.
Right.
But there is guys in that list that have fought in UFC and whatever, and I don't know how he works that now, but I definitely look at the cut to the chase is I know even Denny said it about guys being in that top 10. It's also what fights they've taken.
Right.
Who have they fought?
Right.
Well, Chip's fought Brett O'Terry.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He's fought some of the top 10.
He's fought Keith Jeffries, who everybody didn't realize how tough Keith is. You know what I mean? And both fights could win either way.
The guy that Chip, one of the guys, Joey Rivera, who Chip fought, is now on the Tough Show. He's on the Tough Show winning fights.
Chip KO'd him in the 3rd round.
Exactly.
So what I'm saying is, Chip has fought some extremely tough guys, and you know what? Yeah, Chip's my guy. But I mean, give credit where credit's due. Honorable mention, not acceptable. He should be in the top. Maybe 8, 9, or 10 at least. Put him in there.
And I didn't start this again because I wanted to see Chip in the top 10. I guess my point is that even if he didn't rate being in the top 10, here's the thing. You go out there as an MMA fighter and you fight and you grow. You start off young and you get older and you gain experience along the way. So why, after you have a couple more years of experience, don't you deserve to get that shot again to get back up there? I saw a couple of comments, people in there saying, "Oh, why should they fight somebody that is because they are that good? You just don't know it yet." Now, Chip is he's a great fighter, but other people out there too is what I'm saying. There's a lot of people that might even have. Now, Chip's got a winning record, but some guys might have a losing record, but they've been in the game longer since then. And their games, like Robbie Roberts, and I love him, so we'll tell it again. Robbie Roberts had lost 6, 7 fights in a row, but he was an independent. He went and he got Matt Lee to train him. Now, it could be anybody there, but you get a trainer, a manager, and all the right pieces of the puzzle, and all of a sudden your game grows. All of a sudden you become a better fighter. So now he's 6-3, say, but he's still a great fighter.
And the other thing, let me touch on that, Hammer, is that you got a lot of these people chiming on any of these sites, any of these underground forums, everything. They don't know anything.
Right.
And they're just like, they're fans, and we love the fans and all that. They don't know a thing about the game. And records, I'm going to tell you right now, record mean nothing. It's nice to have a guy in the top 10. We're complaining that Chip's not in there. We want to be in the top 10.
Right.
But when it all comes down to it, it's a fight.
Right.
And that guy, one guy could be 10-1, and another guy could be 5-5.
ratings are one guy's opinion, not everybody's opinion. So
we want to see exciting fights.
Right. There we go. Well, I think Chip Pollard, the surgeon, and Ryan Quinn is going to be an exciting fight.
It's going to be a great fight, and let's hopefully we put that together. And I talk about exciting fights. Is that last CES show I was at?
It's good.
At the Dunk Center.
Yeah.
Listen, man. There wasn't the last fight, the Batista fight against Vince Lucero.
That was the fight of the night.
Not to me, it wasn't.
No, but I mean that was the top.
That was the top 10. I think that whatever.
That's a bum.
The guy got in there, whatever. He looked really. I mean, he admitted he was scared. He was nervous. Now, and I'll give him that and all that. But the undercard, the fights that were on that could have been a headliner on any show. And I'll give you an example. Mike Campbell.
Oh my God.
Let me just say that some of the we'll touch on. Some of the upcoming fights coming up on shows, but let me say like some guys that really stood out in that show. Mike Campbell has been on a streak. Kid's a beast, man.
He's been at this for years. So I remember the first time I saw him fight was the night when he was being featured by Tap Out. The 3 Tap Out guys were down here. That was the night that picture was taken. They were down here and they were featuring him that night.
Right. Mike's a veteran.
Right.
Widely, but he's fought in the WEC. He's fought some top level guys. And he's right on that cusp, I would say, of probably making it back into the UFC,
nice.
One of those big organizations. I mean, because he just looks so crisp. He beat Don Carlo Close the time before that, and he just beat another kid that was a tough kid. But Mike is so.
Who do you fight?
To me, he's like Chip, man. He's like so precision. His striking's great. He always comes into a fight in the best condition.
Cardio is huge.
He got good jiu-jitsu, good wrestling. His athleticism, and he's one of the nicest guys in the game.
And when you train at these top schools around here, it's, you know, when you're training for a 3 or a 5 round fight, you're training for a 30 round fight. I mean, these guys don't, you know, okay, we're going to train for a 3 round fight. Mike, you know, even though he's an older guy, when he's training for his fights and for his super fights and stuff, he's training for 10. They got him going 10 5-minute rounds a night with different guys. You know, this isn't a joke. This isn't you go for, you know, train for the 3 round. You know, we watched that Baptista thing that he touched on. You seen the guy that he was getting. These guys don't train. They don't do the work. You know, there's a lot of guys that don't do the work. It's all about the gym and the people you're with.
Mike comes from training exclusively, mixes it up, but I think he's with the Triforce guys. I want to give a shout out to those guys. Triforce, they got a really good school. They've put a lot of guys together now up there that are.
Who's it? Is it?
Keith Jeffries and Pete Jeff. Pete's the one I fought at CEF.
Oh yeah.
These two brothers, really good jiu-jitsu guys, great guys. They put together a good school in Rhode Island.
Nice.
And they got Brennan Ward there. They got Greg Rebello's been training out of there. You got Mike Campbell. You got Todd Chattel out of there, and numerous other guys. And I wanted to touch on a few guys that are making headlines.
Let's do it.
And Mike Campbell, the other guy, Mike, who fought the other night was Doomsday Howard.
Oh,
this guy right here,
John Howard.
He's on another level. And the last 2 guys he's fought, he's just basically walked right through them. The kid he just fought, I think was from down in Georgia, and I don't recall his name. Kid was game, tough. Doomsday lumped him up real bad in the first round, and it was a TKO.
Doomsday is a UFC veteran.
Absolutely.
He got shut out. You know, there was a lot of competition in his weight class. What's his weight class?
185.
185. So there's a ton of competition.
And he's the top of the heap right now,
Right,
185.
right.
His last 2 opponents, he basically blew right through. He blew through this other guy. He fought Scotty Ream, who's a dangerous striker, a very dangerous striker.
He's got that one overhand shot. That's his game. If he ain't got that, he ain't got
He
nothing.
hit Doomsday, and I was right in the front row. I seen that, and Doomsday basically just shook it off. Hit him with like 2 good shots. And then...
and he dropped some animals with that shot, too.
Yes, Scotty's a tough guy. And he basically... Scott lost by verbal submission in the 1 minute and 28 seconds in that first round. Doomsday got him down, and it was a wrap. Doomsday is looking good.
Yeah.
He is looking clean. His stand-up looks crisp. His Muay Thai looks crisp. He's from Y Crew. Yeah. He's what can I say? I mean, the last couple times I've seen him fight, I would assume he's going to be on the big show again.
Yeah.
Phenomenal fighter.
Who did I see him fight before? Who did I see him fight before?
Todd Chattel.
Todd Chattel. That was
actually he's on a 3-fight roll.
Yeah, because Chattel's a nasty fighter too.
Tough guy.
He's a tough bugger. But
so 3 fights in a row. He's finished guys, I believe, all in the first round. And you know what? He did it with like.
And I think all 3 of those guys, or at least 2 of them, are in the local top 10 here in the rankings.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went through them pretty quick, and that's no disrespect to any of those guys. It's just I'm just trying to give props to Doomsday, who's looking really crisp, and like he's on. He belongs in the biggest show.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, not that CES is a great show, but I'm talking the big show. Greg Rebello looked great on that show. It was his first
submission.
He got his first submission win. I was helped corner him with the Triforce guys.
Yeah.
And to see Greg win his first fight by submission, because I always used to bust his chops. You always winning by decision, or you always, you know, you've got some TKOs. When you got to do a jiu-jitsu? No, he's fought some tough guys, right?
Yes, he's a great fighter. Greg is a great fighter. He's also a great teacher. And when you're training for a fight yourself, Greg is the first one there to back you up and to give you help. Greg will help you. He doesn't ask nothing.
Helped you a lot.
He did. He helped me a ton. He helped me with my cardio. He had me running up and down stairs with 50-pound weight things on, up and down the stairs, jumping over stuff I had no place jumping over, just doing just huge. And I at the time was 300 plus because I wanted to be big for that fight. And that kid had me training like I was a young, 150-pound guy. But it did amazing things for me. It helped me to win the fight. It really did.
Greg's fought some really tough guys throughout the years, and fought Mike Stewart from Bomb Squad, who was a beast.
Yeah, he is.
A beast. And Greg, he fought him. And it was a great fight for Greg to win because the guy he fought, I forget his name, Gillian or something like that, but he was a UFC veteran, Strikeforce veteran. He's fought a bunch of UFC vets, so it was a good win for him. And to see him get the rear naked choke was good, great for me and Banana.
Who did Greg fight?
He fought a UFC veteran.
Oh, nice.
Gillian, I'm not sure the guy's name,
yeah.
but he's a wily veteran, and to see him get that choke was like, all right, Greg, all right, little Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu there, you did well, and he was excited to get the win, so I was happy for that.
And it's not that he didn't know it, it's just that he works with his striking a lot more.
Yeah,
He's been training over the years, his striking's a lot more, I don't want to say better, but well, yeah, his striking's better than his ground game.
Yeah, and he comes in good condition. I'll tell you, that CES fight, I had a great time at that fight.
Yeah.
And Mr. Birchfield and his son, they take, they a lot of respect they give to me coming in knowing, you know what I mean, that I've been with a lot of the fighters, and I'll tell you, it's a top-notch organization they have there. And the fight, there was like another fight was a good fight. It was Calvin Cater and Sal Almeida. Nice. Two of the top guys in the featherweights. Cater won. Nice. But it was a slugfest, and it was an excellent. Like I said, Mike, there was some great fights. Another kid to keep an eye on is Brennan Ward. He's 4-0 now from Triforce. Yep. Kid's an unbelievable wrestler.
Shout out to Gary Foreman. Gary, he got a little bit sick. He's doing better now. He had to cancel his show for November.
Yeah, I feel bad about that.
Yeah, it was a good show, but he'll be back. They'll be back. Gary and Linda will be back in it soon. He just needed to get better a little bit, but great guy, and Gary, get well.
I love dealing with Gary and Linda, you know what I mean? They're good people.
They're funny.
Fun, and they put, and you know what? A lot of good fight. They've put out a lot of good fights on that show. People complain, oh, well, the minute. Hey, listen, they've also, you got to realize, there's been some great fighters and fights that have come out of CFX shows. I've seen some great fights in there, so I like to see Gary back in fighting shape, in other words. And bring in another.
He's coming back. We're all going to go down to the Brazilian Grill to tackle some food, put some weight back on.
I'm with you on that one.
Nice.
Right, bro?
Nice, you're buying.
Of course I am. How about Mike Pulvere's show coming up?
Mike Pulvere, Cage Titans, coming to Memorial Hall in Plymouth, the best venue to see a fight. All these other places, great promoters, great everybody, but Memorial Hall to me is the best place.
It's the Mecca. It's the Mecca of MMA. It's like a Coliseum. It's the Coliseum.
There you go.
It's a place that's special to me.
Special to me.
Won a title in there.
Carried him out in there.
Yeah, I've been beat up in there. I've won. I've beat some guys up. I've been beat up in there.
Yeah. And actually, the carrying out was one he won. He was he dropped every single ounce of energy he had in his body in that cage. He did everything. He just I remember.
But you can't find. There's not a bad seat in the place. Let's like put you in a cellar somewhere.
No, we're in a cellar. We're in a cellar.
Oh, it is. There is no cellar there.
No, we're in it. Remember?
Oh yeah,
that's it.
You're right.
Level.
You're right.
Yeah, that's why everything looks down.
It is like Mike said, the best place to watch fights to me in the New England area.
Yeah, you don't fit as many people, but everybody takes care of you there. You got the girls with the cute little aprons and everything else going through there, and they take care of you. They bring you whatever you want. And
So I mean, to touch on a few fights, I don't know. I know Mike's got a lot of amateur fights on that one. Which listen,
I love amateur fights.
The amateur fights are great, and Mike always puts a great show on. Mike Pulvere, the Cage Titans, is another guy that's puts a great show on in the Northeast.
Even though he stood me up and he's supposed to be in the chair this weekend.
Oh, he did?
Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, he's doomed.
Well, he's been ducking me. He knows I'm going to catch him in another sub hold, so it just,
he
knows.
Yeah.
But anyways, all kidding aside, I think he had some fights to get dropped on him.
Right.
I'm not sure which ones they were on the pro circuit. Yep. But one fight to watch that night on the 20th is going to be Rob Font from City Tom.
Yep.
And Brendan Fleming from South Shore Sport Fighting. These two kids, Fleming is a Bellator veteran, local amateur champion.
Nice.
Phenomenal wrestler. Comes from one of the top schools, South Shore Sport Fighting. He's going to be prepared and ready. Got some great coaching through Bill Mahoney and Scott Lockhart.
I love those guys.
Against Rob Font, who is a very, very underrated 145. He's one of my jiu-jitsu students and one of Mark Delagrati's top strike. The kid is all around a phenomenal fighter, and he's beaten a couple good guys in the last fight. So I'll be helping corner him on that. I talked to Bill at Naga yesterday. It's all business.
Yep.
And that's a good fight, man, because both guys are going to be ready to battle. So that, I think that right there, that fight alone is worth the admission to Cage Titans.
Right. And I got to tell you, I enjoy the amateur fights because these guys are coming in there like there's no tomorrow. You know what I mean? Once you get a little bit calmed down, you don't have the adrenaline dump anymore. You become a pro. These guys coming in amateurs are just, oh my God, they got their hearts in it. You know, you'll see a lot of tears afterwards and a lot of tears of joy. Right. You know, they got their heart more into it. They think it's the end of the world when they live it, and they fight like that. So it's kind of nice to see. And most of them are local guys. You know, people go see your fighters. They're all out there. You know, these are all your friends and neighbors. You know, in the local towns around here, that's where they're coming from.
One kid I want to touch on also is as we talk about these amateurs that just basically took the one of the fights at I think it was I'm not sure of the fight up in Maine or New Hampshire. There was a great 145 fight against Soap Am, okay, from Redline. This kid's like undefeated and a really tough 145 amateur fighter fought a kid named Crazy Ray Wood, they call him.
Yeah.
This kid, from what I understand, Ray Wood dominated the whole 3 rounds. So there's a kid to be looking for. Both those fighters.
Yeah.
And you know what? We could touch on this for a few seconds.
Of course.
Amateur fighting, to me, you know, is practice. It's practice. It's building a fight.
A record. It isn't about a record.
I'm not going by these. Listen, there's a huge difference between amateurs and pros in any league, in the football, hockey, especially fighting. You know, when I see people arguing online about the amateurs, blah, 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 listen, it's too much. They put too much emphasis on titles in the amateur leagues.
Well, that's it. And I don't understand the rankings for amateurs. Why is this even here?
I don't know, but to me, and no offense to any amateurs out there, just get the practice in.
Right.
Let people know you're 4-0, or 5-0, or 2-1, or whatever it is.
Put your profile out there. Get on whatever you want. Do your own thing.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I don't care about amateur titles.
Right.
Now you can get mad at me, call me names, whatever. I could give a damn about amateur titles. They mean nothing.
Right.
As soon as you hit the pros, that's when it counts. Get all the practice in the world. Right now, because the amateurs
don't need that pressure as an amateur of a title and stuff. Anyway,
I don't buy it. If I could get a program going or an event going, there would be no amateur titles.
Right, and there never used to be. This is all new, and this is another thing.
They've really blown out, and if Danny and those guys in Northeast don't rank those amateurs, which I understand they want to. There's so much work to. They could spend more time on the professional.
Right, they can get the pros right if they ain't doing the.
And that's not a slight on anybody. It's not a slight. I'm just saying, why rank the amateurs?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Don't make a big thing about it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. And those guys, the amateurs, need to just practice their craft. They don't need to be thinking about who's the best as an amateur. They need to be just practice, so that once they get into the pros, they get all the bugs and the kinks and everything else worked out, And then the other thing, you're a big fish in a small pond if you're doing that. Once you hit the pros, you might have held the belt as an amateur, but now you got no clue and you're nothing like these guys.
Give you an example, and this, like I said, I'm just giving an example. Ricardo George was 7-1 as an amateur, won 2 amateur titles, went pro, what? 0-3.
Yeah.
I'm just using him.
Yeah.
But there's other cases like that in all the MMA and even boxing around.
And you got 10 venues out there that are doing these things that are happening. All right, so you got Cage Titans, you got CFX, you got Reality Fighting, you got CES, you got Maine, you got New Hampshire, you got New York now, you got Rhode Island, you got all these promotions that have their own little, little titles, little belts, little things.
Come on.
What happens when you jump in the big pool and now you got one set of rankings for everybody?
When it counts.
Yeah, when it counts.
How about this? How about this? You're not making any money in the amateur ranks, guys.
Right.
You're making ticket sales.
Right.
You're not making any money. Use it as practice. The overemphasis on titles and amateurs, to me, has been way blown out of proportion.
Guys, that's for the promoters. That's a selling feature. That ain't for you. You work on getting your stuff right for later. You watch the pros, you watch what they're doing, you go out and you practice and you find out what you need to improve on. Exactly. You don't want to go take fights that you can beat so that you can improve your ranking as an amateur. You want to take fights that are hard for you so that you can find out where your weak spots are and then you can improve your game so once you do get into the cage as a pro, you'll have all the tools you need to make it happen.
End of story.
That's it, baby.
That's it.
How much more can you say? Hey, let's talk about 2 minutes. Let's talk about Niagara a little bit.
Oh, I went there yesterday with some kids, and like always, put a great show on.
Of course.
Kip Cola, you know what I mean? This is
Kip and Joe Cuff.
Yeah, legend in the MMA world. I've seen Kip fight. I remember Kip fighting at Roseland Ballroom. Open hands. Open hands. Yeah, open hand.
Yeah.
Palms. Back in the old days. Naga, great. Listen, get all the kids in. I see a lot of. When I go there, I see all the great guys. I see
all the
Bill
schools.
Mahoney.
All the schools.
Yeah. Bill Mahoney brought some real great guys, good kids up there.
Yeah.
He's got some real studs up and coming. I have a couple young and up and coming studs coming up. We won one belt, a couple swords. I brought a 7-year-old kid.
And you're
up
going to
there.
see these guys too. You're going to see Loco. You're going to see Bill Mahoney.
Oh,
you're going to see
everybody.
all the coaches.
Vaca from
they
Team Link.
bring their guys to these events and they coach them. They don't just coach at the school. This is on their own time. They don't get paid extra for it.
Right.
They go there and they help their students. The reason for this is to give them some competition so that they get to find their gains, to see where they're gaining, where they're lacking, like we just talked about the amateur things. And it's basically one of the, other than Napaga, it's one of the only things that they have to show their strengths while they're trying to get to be MMA fighters, if that's their goal. And if they just want to train and play, this is a great place to go. They get belts, they get swords, they get medals.
Have fun with it. And I always tell the kids, I brought one kid in, Greg's kid, Greg Jones. The kid.
I saw that.
He did real good. Listen, he was crying. You know, he was a little upset because he didn't win a sword, but he got a 2nd place out of 4 guys, and he did very, very well.
And how old is he?
7 years old.
7.
And I'm like, bro, you know what I told the kids? Like, we got him in a circle. I said, listen, let's have fun today.
Yep.
It's practice. Get in there and see where your game is. You're rolling with different guys. We want you to win.
Right.
But it's practice.
Yeah.
Let's tighten the games up.
You got these guys, and I'll use Shane because I love to use Shane as an example.
Sure.
In his year as a 17, in this last year, the last 365, he's won a couple of belts at Naga. He's won pancration twice. He's won
2 kickboxing matches.
2 kickboxing Muay Thai smokers
Against adults.
And so he's got in there all these medals and all this stuff that don't mean nothing except for experience. All they are symbols of experience. He's lost some matches too. So all these things. If he didn't fight these guys, I remember one. He had a guy at Naga, right? And they didn't have enough guys, so they set him up with this other guy. So he goes out and he fights. And this kid got him in this move. I don't remember the name. It don't matter. But I remember after the battle was over, right? First thing Shane did goes, "Whoa, that was awesome! How did you do that?" And those 2 kids got on the mat and they learned. And he taught them. And then Shane, that's what it's about.
It's a great proving ground. Naga. Kip, the level of competition there. You got all the top schools.
Those guys are great too. They're everywhere. They have competitions now in Hawaii and all over the country. It's
Love going there. And I've seen some great matches. I've seen some great kids matches. I couldn't stay for the adults because I only brought kids for that one. But it's just a good, bring your kids, get into the Naga, bring them down there, let them get some experience and meet some nice people.
Folks, we covered a whole bunch of stuff. Thank you for coming to another Fireside Chat with Michael, the Hammer Mulligan, and Michael, LOCO LOBO Gresh.
Thanks, Hammer.